Hey, what's up guys? It's Taylor. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my experience moving to New York City by myself with no money, with barely any friends here, and what that experience has been like for me, some things I wish I would have known before, some things I've learned along the way, and what I'm doing now. Hopefully, if you're thinking about moving to New York, this will help you. Before I moved to New York, I was living in Chicago, and it was May of 2017, so the end of May, my lease in Chicago was going to be up. At that time, I didn't have anything tying me down anywhere, so I was like, at the end of the month, I'm gonna move to somewhere else because I wasn't doing a ton in Chicago, so I was like, let's go find more opportunity somewhere else. Will I move to New York? Will I move to LA, Austin, Miami? I really had no plan. I was kind of just figuring it out day by day. But I had a friend come to Chicago to visit, and he was like, there's so much more opportunity in New York, like you should move to New York, period. And basically that's all I really needed to hear. I kind of just needed a push in a certain direction. I'd only been to New York twice prior. My first time I was 17. It was my first time on a plane. I went to New York by myself. I had gotten scouted. Then the second time was a weekend I went in college, and I loved it. My idea about New York before I moved there was it's super cool. I feel like everyone has the same kind of idea about New York, that it's very like hip and cool and exciting and busy and lots of lights and whatever. Central Park and Brooklyn, like everyone kind of has the same like very vague idea of what New York is based on like what you've seen in movies or on TV or whatever it is. So I really didn't have any concerns really. I was just like, yeah, I'll figure it out when I get there. I was like, I'll move there and I'll model and work and whatever. I sold everything. I got everything that I owned down into 4 suitcases. And I moved to New York. I left all my friends that were living in Chicago that I was very close with. I decided to up and move because I wanted to find a new opportunity and I wanted to explore, and yeah, that was it. So I moved to New York with 4 suitcases. I found an apartment on a Facebook group and moved in with 2 random guys that I didn't know and was getting completely ripped off with my $2,000 6x10 windowless bedroom in the East Village. Yeah, I moved here and I was modeling full time. I started working almost immediately. I think I had a job the first day that I landed in New York, which is really exciting. But I quickly came to realize that the modeling world was not consistent, or at least it wasn't a way for me to live in New York City, one of the most expensive places to live ever. I spent the first 2 months doing castings and shoots, and I went to the gym a lot, and I would wake up every morning and I would go to a new neighborhood in Manhattan or Brooklyn, and I would just walk around and I would just spend all day exploring that neighborhood. So that way I kind of had a better idea of the city. I had just moved here. I didn't know anyone. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know anything at all about New York, really. My new home. When I moved here, I didn't really know anyone. I knew a few people from Instagram, but no one that I really knew in real life. But I had one friend who I grew up with back in Indiana. Her name was Alexa. That was my first friend that I started going out with and meeting her friends and everything. But it wasn't until about 2 months in, once I realized that New York was expensive and I needed to get a part-time job, if anything, that I started making more friends. I started working a part-time job, and I would do that. I would wake up at 5 a.m. and work the 5 to 11 shift, or at night I would work the 5 to 10 shift or whatever it was at a boxing studio. That's what I did for the first year. I did that. I would work, almost 40 hours a week at a part-time job, working doubles here and there or whatever, just to support myself. And then I met a ton of people at work that I ended up becoming very good friends with. That was something I quickly came to realize, that really got to be able to, if you want to pay your rent and go out and have drinks and buy clothes or whatever it is you want to do, you really have to bust your ass to get those things. And so I started having side hustle after side hustle, part-time jobs, social media, Instagram, selling all my old clothes on Poshmark. I really had to survive, and so I was really working a lot. But the good thing that came of that was I was able to support myself, but also made a ton of friends. No matter where I've lived, I've always made an effort to use social media as a tool to find like-minded people, or find people that I find interesting and become friends with them or learn from them. Being in New York, you really are surrounded by the best of the best. And so I've made a pretty good point And like I would suggest anyone to really use social media to find people that you think you want to hang out with, or groups that you're interested in, or activities, or anything, because with such a high population of amazing people, like there's no shortage of people that you can hang out with and talk to. There's just so many amazing opportunities here. Like really do take advantage of those, because yeah, why not? The first, like it was like Thanksgiving, I realized I wasn't going to be able to go home for Thanksgiving or Christmas. So my first year in New York, one of my friends, Kevin, had actually had a Friendsgiving for a bunch of people who couldn't go home or didn't want to go home or didn't have anywhere to go for Thanksgiving. And I ended up going to his house. At that time, I only knew maybe Kevin. And I got there and I met a ton of people. So that was nice, because I had finally been included in something. It was reassuring to have a bunch of people in the same situation, like these young creatives living in New York who kind of didn't have anywhere to go. It's a little cliche, but we were all together, and it really brought me closer to that group of people. And like I said, some of those people are some of my best friends today that I hang out with. Yeah, that was kind of a milestone in my time in New York, especially looking back now, because those people are people I talk to every day and spend a lot of time with. What did I think New York was going to be like versus like what it actually is like? So like I said, going into it, I had really no expectations other than it seemed really cool. Like that was literally it. I had no idea what it was going to be like. And then I got here and it's just so like fast paced. Like there's always something going on and people are always doing something, and it's a lot sometimes. Like I think I had lived in New York probably 3.5, 4 months, and I really kind of hit this wall that I was like, holy shit, how am I going to sustain this lifestyle, be like able to do this? And I luckily got over that. One thing I've learned about New York is everyone, for the most part, is doing more than one thing. New York is definitely like the land of opportunity, and as someone who likes to take advantage of every opportunity that presents itself, I really started doing a ton of stuff once I got here, because there's just so much to do. There's so many options of literally everything: places to go out, places to eat, things to do, work to do, jobs to get. There's just so much going on, and it really is exciting, but also can be slightly overwhelming too. But once you get used to it, I seriously love it so much. Another thing that I've learned since living here is like everyone here seems so cool, and everyone's got a cool job, or they live in a cool apartment, or they love what they do, or at least they're making you think they do. And it's a really easy place being around so many amazing, talented, creative people. It's a really easy place to maybe try to compare yourself to other people, especially once you get here, because everyone really is doing something amazing in New York. And that's something that I really love about it here, is everyone is trying to make it in New York City. Like a lot of people dream of visiting New York, let alone living here. And being from Indiana and being from a town in the middle of nowhere and living in New York, it was pretty overwhelming for me. I'd never been around this many people before in my entire life. So that took some getting used to, definitely. If there's any advice I could give to anyone thinking about moving to New York or moving to New York, it is really like familiarize yourself with as much as you can. Like I said, when I first moved here, I would just wake up and, if I wasn't working or on the weekends, I would walk around neighborhoods and I would just like find the best coffee shop or a cute place for lunch or dinner, and I would just get out my maps and I would go to Google Maps and I would just star everything, so that way I knew cool places that I wanted to try, because there are so many places here that you could eat somewhere new or get coffee somewhere new every morning and never touch the same place twice. So it really is fun to like find your favorites and explore different neighborhoods and see the places that you like, I guess. If there's one thing that I've like learned or figured out about being in New York, is if you want to make it here, like, two things. You have to put yourself out there. You have to be open to like new experiences, and I feel like this is a place to explore yourself and explore things to do and try new things, and you really have to be open to trying new stuff, because New York has so much to offer. It'd be silly to come here and not want to try new things or explore, be open, or see everything that this amazing place has to offer. And the second thing is like to live here, to be successful, to make it work, it is a hustle. Like you have to hustle. You might have to start walking dogs, waking up and working a part-time job at 5 a.m. Really figuring out what you can do to be successful, and that's not always what you hope it is. As long as you're open to making it work and doing whatever it takes to get where you want to be, like this place has so much to offer, and you really can accomplish whatever you want. The options are here, the opportunities are here, but you have to be willing to put in the work to get yourself where you want to be. And that's something that I had to realize working 3 jobs at one time and going to castings and shoots and selling my clothes to buy food. And I mean, I came to New York with literally no money. Like, I had enough money to pay 1 month's rent, and that was only because I could pay my rent on a credit card in Chicago. So I really came here with nothing in the hopes that it would work, and luckily it did. And I am so grateful to be here, and I love this place so much, and it really has made me grow so much as a person and shown me so many new people and different backgrounds of people, and I'm really happy to be here. I really do love it, and it really is such an incredible experience as long as you know what you're getting into. So it is a lot of work, and you can do anything you set your mind to, but it's not going to be easy. I think that's just like all you need to know before you move here. It's amazing, just like know you're going to have to work for it. I hope that makes sense. I hope you have a better idea about what it's like to be in New York and what it takes to be successful and what kind of battles you can or will face if you move here. That's all I got. I'm going to continue to be living here for the time being, and I really do see myself staying here for a couple more years. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, like this video, share it with your friends, and hope to see you in New York. Alexa, who I grew up with, who was living in New York at the time, we decided to move in together. And we found this sick apartment.
Sorry, I'm not sure.
Oh, Alexa, stop.